All right, time for the Hasenpfeffer. We've had this marinating for 2 days. And let's go ahead and open that guy up. Ugh. That was a seal there. Whoopsie. Wow, it smells awesome. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take the rabbit out. Shut up, kitty. We're going to take the rabbit out, pat it dry, dredge it in flour, fry it nice and brown. And after we do that, we're going to make a gravy from this marinade with some ginger cookies. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to let this go for like, maybe like 2.5 hours until it's just ridiculously falling off the bone. We're good to go. See you in a bit. While that's browning up, we're going to strain our brine because I want to get some of this big stuff out. All right, real quick, while this is browning up, we're almost done with that. What is the brine? Well, the brine is onion, 3/4 cup of salt, 3/4 cup of sugar, because we only used one rabbit and it was fairly small. Mustard seed, coriander, and then a lot of fresh cracked peppercorn, hence the pfeffer, Hasenpfeffer. It's peppered hair. So, yeah, you kind of need pepper in there. So, we're going to brown that guy. Once it's brown, we're going to get rid of all the oil. And then we're going to pour this brine, just enough to cover that the rabbit pieces. Hey, lucky penny. Rabbit pieces. And we're going to let that go for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, until the meat is super, super tender. And at that point, we're going to take the rabbit out, and we're going to thicken up the liquid with a bunch of ginger cookies. So, really easy to do. It smells so awesome in here right now. So I'll check back with you in a little bit. Poured off our excess oil. We're going to return the rabbit to the pan, and then we're going to cover this with brine. All right, so we've gone and added the brine back. I've also added a bit more crushed peppercorn. I put the onions back in, and I threw a couple of the juniper berries back in. I didn't want to put all the solids in there because you don't want to be chewing on coriander seeds and mustard seeds, so just a little more palatable. So we've got this in here. We're going to simmer this. Whoops! We're going to simmer this for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, until that's all super tender. Again, we're going to remove the rarebit from the liquid, and then we're going to turn that liquid into a sauce, and then we're going to throw that sauce back over the rabbit and eat it and be happy. See you in a bit. While we're waiting, we're going to take some of these ginger cookies, and we're going to crumble them up in here, and we're going to add them to about a tablespoon maybe of leftover flour that we dredged the rabbit in, so that we have that for when we take it out, we can thicken up the liquid with it. So, in vigor. And it won't take much. It won't take a lot of these to thicken it up. So I'm going to add maybe like about that many. I'll probably eat the rest because they're damn good. Now you know what? Then I'll eat the rest. Okay. So let's stick that guy on and see if we can hold this. Kind of hard to see. They're about crumbled up. We'll do a little bit more. Let's see. That should all be good now. Could you do this by hand? Yeah. Hey, those cookies didn't even go in there. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. 2 of the cookies got stuck up in there and they just weren't even getting it. So do you have to use a food processor? Nope. Can you do it by hand? Yep. Can it be extra chunky when you put it in there? Absolutely. Does it matter? Not really. But because I'm mixing this with this flour, I kind of want it to be at least somewhat mixed up. Like, see, pieces like that. Doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine. We'll go ahead and add that. And that is going to be our thickening agent that we will add to the rabbit. So, see you guys in a little bit. All right, it's been about an hour and a half. Let's take a look, see where we are. Let's lower that a little bit. Fire! All right. Oh, well, we can see that the meat has actually pulled back from the bone, and that's pretty much cooked. We're starting to run a little low on liquid there. So I'm going to add just a teeny tiny little bit of water to this, only because once I add the ginger cookies and a little bit of flour, it's going to make it real thick, so I want to stretch this out just a little bit. So hold on a sec, we're going to pull this out and then we're going to thicken this up. Alright, so just a real quick example. We're going to test this to make sure that it's done. And you can see, oh yeah, that is just ridiculous. That is just falling apart. So let's not tear it all. That's all good. Alright, so let's get that out. I'm just going to set those to the side. Oh man, it's just falling apart now. That's great. Ah! Dangerous. This stuff really is just like fall apart good right now. So let's get that over. I apologize, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay. We're gonna add just a little bit of butter. And get all that stuff off the bottom as well. Anything that's stuck, all those bits and pieces. See those little juniper berries are kind of hanging out in there. Okay, man, I made such a mess on my counter. That's great. We're going to go ahead and start adding some of this in there. Just sprinkle. Big ass cookie clump. All right, start mixing this up. You can see like it's going to get real thick real quick. So that's why we added the water. Just to stretch this out a little bit. We want to get all those little bits and pieces. And this is going to get super, super clumpy. I'm probably going to add a little more water just so I can stretch out the sauce. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, screw it. There we go. And mix this all up. This smells ridiculous. I wish that you could smell this. And I will add a little bit more butter. Oh, there's stuff all over my counter. So we're just going to mix this up. Turn this into a gravy, if you will. and it'll be ready to go on top of the Hasenpfeffer. And then it's all going to go in my lunchbox and in my belly. Make some taters with this. Probably, oh, it's really thick. I'm going to probably dilute this a little more. I might actually add a little bit of cream to this. That might be good too. See how this gets real pasty. Grab a little creme. Alright. Through the magic of editing while hitting the pause button, we've gone ahead and we've thinned this out. And we've added a bit of cream to it. I also added a little bit sugar because it was a little on the bitter side, and I think it was because of the amount of juniper berries that I put in there. Wow. So now it's just very savory. Obviously you don't need all of this, but just enough to coat some of your rarebit. And if you're putting this on top of potatoes, which is kind of a traditional thing to do, Kartoffeln, mit maybe some vinegar or something like that. It's going to be a little bitter already, so you don't want to overdo it with this. This way we toned it down. It's more savory than anything. I might add a little more pepper because I like pepper in there. I don't feel like cracking a whole bunch of peppercorn, so this is just for me. Obviously you can happen there, but we're going to go ahead and mix this up. And our gravy is done. So now I will clean up all the splatter and everything on the counter. And yep, get ready to put this away. So there's our gravy, there's our rabbit. This stuff looks awesome. I want to eat it right now, but that's my lunch. So I will look at all this mess. I will catch you guys on the next one. Enjoy.